Hi everyone, nice to see you. This is a bendy back tutorial from my balcony. I don't have a lot of space here, so a few things will be adjusted for that, but I'll tell you what to do if you do have the space. Some things you might want for this session is a drink bottle, not just to drink water, but actually as a weight, so fill it with water. You're going to use it later on. You may also want a TheraBand, a couple of different types that you could use. So we want just a regular one. You can use a strap or a piece of clothing instead if you need. I'm going to use a booty band, but you can also create a booty band just from tying it together. So this is what a booty band looks like. You're going to want a block or some books or a box. Even a pack of toilet paper has been used before, so this will be useful for you. And I'm going to use a wheel later on, and you may want to use a chair or the edge of a couch, is what I would suggest. Hopefully you've done one of the warm-ups that are already pre-recorded and loaded onto the online platform. We're just going to do a few extra exercises just to warm up our shoulders and necks and bodies a little bit more in preparation for back bending. Today we're going to work on bridges. I do recommend that you stay hydrated throughout the day. Make sure you've had lots of water, and if you do experience any dizziness throughout the class, make sure that you take a break, and I'll talk about some of the rest postures that you can use in between stretches later on. Alright, let's get started. Hopefully you've been enjoying the royalty-free music that we've been playing. We're going to have a little bit more in this class. If it doesn't come through well, you can kind of just play your own music instead, and hopefully you can hear me nice and clearly. Awesome, let's go. Awesome, head side to side, head to shoulder. hinges are in your back. Once I get to about this point, I'm going to flex my hips, bend my knees, go all the way down, coming back up the way I came. So coming back up. I'm going to do about 5 of these in your own time. Once you've finished your 5, we're going to move on to the next exercise. You can put your weight or drink bottle away for now. So we're just going to warm some more through our shoulders. So we're going to do a few engagements. We're going to have our hands out. We're going to squeeze our shoulder blades together, lifting our hands up and down. About 5 times. Making sure to squeeze those shoulder blades as you're going up and down. Last one. Cool. Holding here. We're going to bring both palms to the ground and then squeeze back up. 5 of these. And 5. Awesome. Grab your band or your strap or your item of clothing if you need to. If you have one of those. So from there to my band. Cool. So we're just going to do what are these called? Shoulder circles around the world. So you will hold your strap or band at a different place depending on your existing shoulder flexibility. You want to keep it nice and locked out. We're keeping our hips and our chest in, so we're not letting our chest go as we raise our arms. So it looks like this, palming up, making a nice big circle all the way to the back, and then coming back the same way you came. So I'm not letting myself do a big back bend. So if you find that your hips go around, your chest wants to really flare, I want you to think about sucking your tailbone in, closing your rib cage in, light contraction of the abs, and then starting again. You can have soft knees if you need. I'm going to do about 10 of these. Remembering to breathe. Alright, now on this next one, I want you to stop at the really icky point, and that may be different for you than it is for me. For you it's about here, and I'm going to do gentle pulses forward. So I'm squeezing my shoulders and my pecs to try and bring that band forward. Doing about 10 of these. And then coming all the way down and back to the front. Cool. We're going to do a similar exercise but side to side. It's something that Nicole used to teach in bending back. So I'm going to take my hands up and I'm going to keep my hips really out. So I'm kind of going to again tuck the tailbone, suck the ribs in, and then I'm just going to go side and middle and side and middle. You may find that one hip wants to pop out, so as you go this side, your other hip may want to go. That's going to change the stretch. For now, we're just going to stick with side flexion and not involving the hips. So side, center, side, center. You may notice a bit of a crunch through these muscles here. That's a good thing. Keep going, a few more. Side, middle, side, and middle. One more either side. This time I'm going to let our hips join the body. So I'm going to come come over and I'm going to let that hip sink out. So I'm going to give you a nice big stretch through here as well as through your lats. I myself have very tight shoulders, so I feel a lot of warming up to get mobilization through my thoracic and my lats and shoulders. Okay, let's go. So all the way over and in. And over and in. Nice. Last one. Oh. Now we're going to play with those two concepts. We've gone up and over, we've gone side to side, and now we're going to do circles. So this is just something I started playing with myself because I'm working really hard on my mobility and flexibility in the upper ranges of my back. So I'm going to start overhead. I'm going to come to the side. I'm going to draw a circle with my arms. I'm keeping the same flexiness of the band, so I'm not letting it come in and out as I go. So I'm coming side, forward, and a nice big circle, being stable from my legs, so I'm not kind of doing any hula hooping, if that makes sense. So I'm coming side, keeping my legs as a strong base, not bending the knees, forward, around in a nice big circle. Not a big back out, so just enough to get overhead. I'm going to do 5 in each direction. Nice and slow. Really feeling that stretch. For me, it's here at this point for my right shoulder and then my left. I'll change to a different position so you can see. I inhale when I'm coming up, and I exhale as I'm coming forward. Awesome. Now I'm coming in the other direction, so I'm going to go to the left, around, up, and down. I'm actually trying to elongate a little bit as I come up, so I'm not sinking back. I'm elongating and going up. Sinking down on my knees on the forward part and up. This should feel really good. And last one. Brilliant. Alright, you can put your band away now. We're just going to come into all fours. And we're going to do some KP cat, angry cat. That's cool, right? Or cat cows. That's what I usually call them. So on all fours. So we're going to arch up and look up. And then pushing the other way. So sinking the hips in, pushing through the shoulders. Arch up, look up. Pushing through the shoulders. Keep breathing. Couple more rounds of this. And out. Last one. And out. Alright, I'm going to do some chest circles. So I'm going to come down. I'm going to do about 2 each way. And the other way. And your hips, same thing. So circling the hips. Other way. Cool. Now I'm just going to move myself a little bit. We're going to do some leg raises. So in an all fours position, we want our tummy tucked, our shoulders not sunken, so we want a nice neutral position. I'm going to extend one leg directly behind, so it's not crossing, it's not out, it's just right behind the hip. Maintaining a neutral spine, I'm going to do 10 leg lifts. So 1, I'm going to scooch right into the window, this is going to be fun. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hopefully you will be feeling it in the upper part of your hamstring and your glute. And we'll do the other side, same thing. I'm going to have to do an interesting variation. I don't quite have enough room to extend, but hopefully you do. So extending behind and lifting. Not letting our hips twist, so you may find your hip wants to do this, or your back wants to sink. All sorts of things can happen. We're aiming for strength and stability. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nice work. Alright. We're going to come back to all fours. We're going to do crunching kicks. So I typically do these in my warm-up. I find them really nice to kind of get my back moving. Even though I am flexible, I actually get very stiff on my back when it's not warm. So coming into our all fours, we're going to crunch one knee in and then kick it up. You're allowed to have a back bend in this. So I'm going to do 8 of these. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Switching legs, other side. Let's go. Crunch and kick, and crunch and kick. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Awesome. Coming up to downward dog and just pressing through your feet, walking it out. One leg up and pulsing. Pulse, 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 pulse. Kick your bum and kick and kick. Kick and kick. Kick and kick. Kick and kick. Now from here, we're going to come forward, crunch it in into a plank, and then back up. It's really hard for me to do in this space, but keep it going. So we're going to do 4 each side. That's 2, 3, and 4. Keep it where it is. From here, we're going to do circles of happiness and joy. So I'm going to come behind that leg, draw a nice big circle, all the way to the side and down. 2 in each direction, so that's number 2. Now I'm going to go side up and down. Side up and down. Side up and down. Beautiful. Bring this leg through into a lunge, pushing up. Good to suck that belly in on elongate. And we're going to do some lunges down. So knee down and up. Down and up. You can use a wall or a chair if you need help. 3, 4, 5, hands down. Nice. Pushing back onto that knee and flex and point with the front leg. Chest up, arching the booty, flex and point. Back to downward dog, pushing through your feet. Other leg up and pulsing. Pulse, 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 pulse. Kicking your bum. Kick and kick. Kick and kick. Kick and kick. Kick and kick. Now we're coming to our plank. We're on plank. I'm not saying the downward dog. I'm coming all the way to plank. Maybe hard to see because I'm getting attacked by the balustrade. We've got 4 of these. 2, up, 3, up, and 4. Remembering to not let that back go. Sucking your tummy in. Coming back, circles of happiness and joy. Leg crossing behind, circling up and around. 2 each direction. This is my second one. Other way. To the side, up, behind. 1 more, side, up, and behind. Threading it through into a lunge, pushing ourselves up, sucking that belly in, body elongates. Nice. Dropping the knee down for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hands to the mat, pushing back onto that knee, flex and point with the front foot, arching the back, chest forward. I'm not rounding my back, chest forward, flex and point. Square hips, think dragging your back knee forward. Awesome. Nice work. Right. Pretty sure we have a bunch more conditioning to go. Continuing with some legs. Take a nice breath. Maybe have a drink of water if you need. And I'm going to refer to my notebook. Nice work. Okay. I'm going to move on to another one. So this is still in our all fours position. These are called thread the needle. They're really good for mobilizing your thoracic spine, and I've actually been given them from physios. I have scoliosis, so my kind of spine moves in different ways, and I'm trying to kind of get as much movement as I can so that I take less pressure off my lower back, especially when I'm doing back bending or flexibility movements up the pole. So I'm going to start on all fours. We're going to take one arm off the ground, thread it through, and then come back up and rotate up and try and look at the ceiling. We're going to repeat this 5 times, breathing in and out as we twist. You don't need to really push here. The point is to do it repeatedly. So 3, 4, and on the last one, we're going to hold it a little bit longer. Awesome. And the other way. So other arm's going to come up, thread through. It doesn't touch the ground. It's just hovering, looking there, and then coming back up. 5 of these. This is my 3rd. 4. And 5. Beautiful. We're now going to do a tabletop or reverse plank and do some more leg action. Trying to get into back bending is pretty much a whole body exercise. You need your glutes, quads, hamstrings, hip flexors, core, shoulders, back engaged, pretty much everything in order to get the most out of your back bends. So we're going to come into a tabletop position. We're going to do a type of hip thrust or single leg movement, but it's a little bit different to some other ones we might do. So coming up into a tabletop, really trying to like squeeze your butt, get your hips up nice and high. I'm going to take one leg off the ground, and then we're going to dip down, not all the way to the ground, just down and back up. 15 on these on each leg. Trying to keep your hips neutral, so not letting them flop or move around, nice and neutral. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, last one, neutral and swap, other side. All right, let's go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, oh my gosh, I'm quivering, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, last one, thank goodness, 15. Hopefully you can feel your glutes firing. You may also have had a nice stretch through your shoulders and your chest. I know I get that in that position. And then we're going to continue with some more fun exercises. Okay, so we're actually going to do some core work because you definitely need a strong core for back bending. It's what's going to support your spine when you're, like stretching it out like crazy. So we're just going to start with some gentle, normal kind of plank flow. So we're going to have maybe 8 to 12 counts in a plank, then go to a side plank, do some thread throughs within our side plank if we're feeling strong, back to the middle, and some leg lifts while we're in a plank. So let's start. I don't have a timer on me, so I'm just going to have to guesstimate. So coming into our plank, we don't want our hips up like a downward dog here. Just going to move this weight out of my way, it's kind of annoying. So we want our hips down, but not sunken either. It's a nice place to get to. If this is too hard, you drop to your knees, okay? All right, and our plank, and hold it. We can do some shoulder taps. So I'm going to transfer back to one shoulder, tap with the other. Try not to really rotate, just a gentle transfer. Aiming for 8 taps. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we're going to come into a side plank, so I'm transferring over, rotating up, hips in one line, so nice and stacked. Hand under shoulder and up. Swapping to the other side, through your plank, nice controlled rotation up. Oh, I'm going to fall apart. Coming back to the middle. Now I'm going to lift one leg up at a time and hold. So left leg comes up. I'm going to have to shift towards the thing, sorry. Left leg comes up, squeeze, hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Switch legs, other leg up. Squeeze. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Awesome work. The thread through side plank that you can do if you feel like it, if you want to add a little bit more core in, looks like this. It's on our elbows. I find it really difficult. Definitely takes a lot of practice to kind of build up the strength and the mobility to make it work. So we're coming onto our elbows in our side plank, reaching up. We're going to thread this arm through the gap. So you do need to turn, look the other way, and come back up. So you can do 5 in the other direction. 3, 4, and 5. Other side. These are hard. Well, I think everything's hard, but it's just me. Coming up. Threading through. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Cool. All right, that's core done. Thank goodness for that. Now let's do some work on some cobras. Start engaging our back, doing some shoulder and back exercises. All right, so let's get into our cobras. So we're going to start with a sphinx. So what we want to do here is we're lying, our legs want to be nice and relaxed, and we want to keep all our ribs on the ground. So I'm going to have my elbows just under my shoulders. It's quite hard for me to do. I may have to bend my legs. You keep yours straight and extended. Okay, so I'm going to push, squeeze my shoulder blades, so I'm not letting my shoulders shrug. Pushing through my shoulder blades, looking up, squeezing my back. And this is our sphinx. So I'm trying to look up, keeping those ribs on. You may find that you want to come up. We're not going right into a cobra just yet. We're just squeezing our shoulders together, looking up to get extension through our upper back. It's quite hard for me to do, so I'm just going to bend my legs a little bit. It's going to change the stretch for me, of course. Right, squeezing, breathing, looking up. We're going to come out of this one. We're going to repeat, and then we're going to do an interesting exercise to get our lower back firing, which would be quite different potentially to something you've done before. So one more sphinx, and then we're going to add to it. So I'm going to get my elbows in, close to my body, engage my shoulder blades together, try not to let them come towards my ears, pushing up, squeezing my back together, and looking up. Alright, staying here. I'm just going to move myself a little bit. What we want to do is maintaining this position with our upper back, we're going to lift our tailbone up. So I'm going to push through my knees and try and arch my butt up while maintaining this upper back and keeping my ribs on. You can come in and out of this with your tailbone as you please. You may feel some discomfort. It shouldn't be. If it's super painful, just stop. I find that this actually mobilizes my very lower vertebrae, which tend to get quite stuck. Remember to keep pushing away from the ground as we do this. Trying to gain a little height with your tailbone as you go. I'm going to go up and squeeze for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Calming down. We're going to slowly walk our hands up for a gentle cobra. Walky, walky, pushy, pushy, pushy. Just to a nice gentle stretch, not to your max. We'll look over one shoulder and center, other shoulder and center. Repeat one more time. Figure eights. So drawing figure eights with our shoulders. And the other way. Cool. We're going to come back down. We're going to do one more cobra up, and then we're going to move on to some more shoulder and back exercises. So coming back up for one more. See if we can walk the hands a little bit further. We want our pelvis on the ground. So I don't want it coming off the ground, keeping it on the ground. You can squeeze and release your booty. Trying to look up, keeping those shoulders down so we're not kind of like flopping here. It's actually quite an engaged position. Alright, coming down, vertebrae by vertebrae, so not just like letting everything go. Coming down nice and slow. Awesome, cool. Now we're going to do some RYTs. I usually do these on the floor actually, so I can demonstrate from the floor with bent legs. It just means I don't get as much shoulder activation as I would otherwise. So for our RYTWs, we are going to have our arms parallel to our ears. Shoulders are going to come back, lifting arm up, go to more of a V shape, up and down to a T, so directly out from your body, up, and then a W. Cool. So we're going to do about 8 of these. You can do them in lying like this, or you could also do them in standing. So in standing, you would kind of bend over, come to this position, lift the arms up, Y, T, and W. I find that when you're here, I'm prone to letting my back go, which kind of changes what my shoulders are doing. Whereas when I'm on the ground, I can't do that with my back because it has nowhere to go. And I get more active because it's harder to get my arms up my head. For me, I have to have my legs bent. Obviously, yours should be straight and on the ground. You shouldn't be doing any activation through your legs or glutes. They're kind of relaxed. It's very much about your shoulders and back. So, 8. I've only done 1 set really, so I've got a bunch more to go. You can do it in your own time. Let's go. That's 1 set. All right, some more to go. 5 more of these. Remember to really squeeze your lats together. A few more. This is a lot of fun for you watching me, I'm sure. Hopefully you're doing it as well, not just me on my own. I'm going to take a break, you keep going if you haven't finished, and then we'll do some more shoulder exercises. That's right, we're not quite done yet. Alright, if you're ready, we're going to do what can be called as pole downs or pull-ups, or pull downs rather. Again, I'm going to do with bent legs because I don't have enough space. It's actually quite uncomfortable for me doing these this way. So I may even turn to face you, which might be a bit weird. So we're going to start in the same way as our RYTs. So we're lifting our arms above our head. We're going to lift our whole back with us and retract those elbows down. 10 of these. 2. Nice and slow. We want our palms facing the ground here. So in this first set with our palms facing the ground. As we come up, we want to maintain height as we squeeze back and then down. Up, squeeze, over and down. Alright, I'm going to face you because my lower back's getting more action than I want it to with my legs bent. Okay, once you finish your 10 with palm down, take a nice break. And then we're going to change what we do with our hands. Alright, next set. This time we're going to have our palms facing each other. So the same thing with what the rest of our body are doing. So we're coming up, squeezing back, forward and down. Up, squeeze, forward and down. Awesome. You don't have to be super high, but you do want to challenge yourself. You can even stay lifted and do that. It's not a race, so you want these to be slow. It gives us much better control. Alright, once you've done about 10, have another rest. I'm just going to switch my mat back around, I think, or I might stay here. Probably looks weird, but we'll just roll with it. This time, same thing again, but we want our palms facing up. So this is really good for twisted grip, which we know can be a key for lots of shoulders if we don't have the mobility that we need for it. So we're going to have our palms facing away. You might find that they want to rotate in. Do your best to try and keep those palms facing away from your body. So lift the arms up, palms away, squeeze, 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 out, and we're just going to stay up for this set. 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Awesome. Have a nice rest. I'm just going to move my mat around. You're just still on the ground. Cool. So come up from where you are. We're just going to stay on our mats lying down for now. We're going to do a twisting stretch. So I'm going to start with my arms in a T away from my body. So extended here. Now I like this stretch. I do this for whenever I'm preparing to do any bendy tricks on the pole that involve twisting, such as Janeros and things like that. I find it really good for opening up my rib cage and my chest and my shoulders. So come down. I'm going to turn my head away from the direction I'm going to twist. So for me, I'm going to pick up my left leg. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to push my weight onto this shoulder. Try not to let my hand move away. So I want it to stay in line with my shoulder in a nice T position. So pushing up, twisting over. I'm just going to stay here for a moment while my body gets used to it. Then I can slide the opposite hand to help push into the stretch a little bit more if I need. From here I can drop that foot to the ground if I'm feeling good. And then take the opposite arm, the free arm, and take it to the ceiling. A stretch on my lower spine, right up through my mid, and then even into my neck and upper spine. I'm going to rotate that shoulder and squeeze them together to get a little bit more stretch. And then allow gravity to take this arm towards the ground. You can also pick up your bottom leg to increase the stretch further. However, I'm just going to stay where I am for now. Coming out of that that stretch, and then go to the other side. So arm back down, body on, head to the other side, picking up the opposite leg, turning towards you. Alright, I'm much stiffer going in this direction. If you wish, you can pick up the free arm, take it to the ceiling, squeeze the shoulder blade to increase that stretch. And back down. Oh, alright. I'm just going to window wipe my legs a little bit, just to chill out. I'm going to do one more set, but this time my arms are going to be at 90-90. Hopefully you can still hear me, I realize I've probably been talking to the ground. So arms 90-90, so that means I want my elbow in line with my shoulder and my hands in line with my elbows. Cool. I'm going to do the same thing with our body. We're trying to keep our inner shoulder, you probably can't see, on the mat or on the ground. If you have nice strong shoulders, nice strong pot shoulders, this you may never get to the ground, that's cool, but eventually we are kind of aiming to get there, especially if we want to do things like ballerinas or allegras even. We have a lot of I'd say tension and pressure going through a stretched shoulder in those positions. So taking one leg over, trying to press the opposite shoulder into the ground. Releasing this hand if you wish. And you can also take it up if it's feeling good. And on the other side, hand back down, coming through the middle, back to our kind of T or our 90-90 position, and going the other way. Awesome. If you feel like there's any burning sensation in the arm being stretched, I suggest you just kind of engage that shoulder a little bit more to protect it. Oh, I'm so tired on this side. Alright, coming out of it. Great. Alright, let's just come up for a little bit of a break. You're welcome to break in your child's pose. So this will be one of the rest positions we use throughout this class. Hopefully you've all done it before. Just kind of, it's a really good counter stretch for any back bending. So it's a good place to kind of come to. Alright, so now we're going to do some more activation of our glutes and our backs. More, you say, yep, more. That's right, we're doing more. So we're going to come back onto our bellies, lying down. We're going to do leg raises and then back raises. You can use a band in your back raises, you may find it helps. And then we're going to do some little booty actions with our TheraBands. So I'm going to use this one and this one. Okay. Again, I'm going to have to do these with bent legs, which is not ideal. Hopefully you kind of get the gist of what's going on. So we're going to do 5 leg raises, so that's both legs at once. We want to keep our upper body on the ground. This is pretty gnarly for me. I'm going to try and do it on a diagonal. Hopefully you can still see what's going on. Your arms will be in front of you, so I want your arms extended in front. And we're going to kind of keep our pelvis on the ground, squeeze our glutes and lift our legs up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're trying not to let your upper back go at the same time, it's just your legs. And now we'll do the same thing with our upper backs and our shoulders. So I'm going to have to do this in a funny way, apologies about that. So my arms overhead, and I'm going to really squeeze. I may squeeze my glutes a little bit to get myself up, but it's not really too much about your legs. So I'm going to engage my shoulders, push through my belly, suck my belly in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Cool. We're going to do a set with both your legs and your arms. And this time we can add a band for our arms. So I find this really helpful because you would have seen when I did my hip raises with my front, my arms tended to widen, right? So I found it really hard to keep them straight in front of me. They kind of went like this as I came up. So the band adds resistance, makes it harder for your arms to just kind of like flail away. You can do a similar thing with your legs, so add a booty band to your legs as you lift. I might do that right now actually, just for fun. And that prevents your legs from kind of sailing out to the side as well. Cool. Alright, I'm just going to put it around my ankles. Alright, so when I used to do ballet, we would call these banana backs. I don't know what they're called in the pole world, so I'm going to keep calling them banana backs. So I'm going to do 5 with both your legs and your arms at the same time. This is going to be a challenge for my space. But hopefully you have less space challenges. Cool. Alright, and let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Cool, you can hold up here and pulse with your legs. Cool, coming down, nice. Hopefully they were fine. We're going to do another round of those. So obviously you may not have a band, the pulses may not have been too easy. So instead of pulsing to the side, you could do paddling like swimming. But it is much easier with a band, so you may have to swap your band from your arms to your legs, for instance. One more set of those, so 5 leg raises, 5 arm raises, and then 5 all together with a hold of the toe and some squeezes, pulses. Beautiful. Alright, deep breaths, and let's go. Hopefully you can still see me, we'll find out later. Alright, arms above, just legs. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And your arms, I'm going to use my band just because I think I get better results with it, to be honest. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, both legs and arms together. Just going to move my toe. Double whammy. Just around the ankles if you're putting on your legs. And you can choose the width for your arms depending on obviously how strong your TheraBand is. Both together. Psychologically preparing myself for this. Try not to hit things as I go. Alright, let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold, pulsing the feet. Nice, coming down. Oh, they were hard. Take a break, feel free to take a rest. Perhaps that was quite a lot for my lower back. So I'm actually going to hug my knees to my chest. It's another one of my rest positions that I recommend. I'm just going to rock from side to side. Nice. Cool, alright. We're going to continue in that vein, so we're just going to go straight on to a bow pose. I think I'm just going to double check that that's what I had planned. Yes, I'm going to go straight into a bow pose. We might do a lunge sequence first actually, just to kind of further get our hip flexors nice and gooey. Then we'll get pretty much into just stretching. Actually, we're nearly there, so exciting. Cool, so for our lunge sequence, we're going to start with our box lunge. So straight into 1990, knee up, pelvis in. Try not to let my hips go anywhere, and then both in a vertical line. Squeezing both legs together, elongating up. Squeezing for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Cool. Coming down, hands beside. I'm just going to scooch that knee back. I'm going to take the same hand as the front foot, reach behind me, kick that knee up. I might slide down a bit further, so I really want my hips still going forward and down. So I don't want to lift my butt back so that I can hold my hand. If you can't get your hand, you can use a block or just hover it. And I'm going to pull this foot towards my bottom. From here, you can either stay here, or I like to move through different positions of my knee to attack different parts of my hip flexor and groin. So I'm going to kind of rotate to the outside of my knee and take my foot with it. Come back to the center, and then through the other way. So this is internal and external hip rotation. Now I'm going to stop in the center. I'm going to pull that foot towards me. I'm going to resist with that back leg for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then relax. Alright, letting that leg go, pushing back, just a little hamstring stretch. So again, remember earlier we would hit chest forward and away rather than curving. And I'm actually arching my booty back a little bit. Again, I want square hips, so I'm actually trying to drag that back leg forwards and my front leg back, flexing the foot, and relaxing down. Awesome. Everything on the other side. So back to our box lunge, opposite leg in front, tummy in, pelvis tucked, hips in a line, drawing the legs together like a scissoring. So I'm engaging my adductors and my glutes. Bringing forward, so you should feel a stretch on that back hip flexor, even here. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. Calming down. Sliding that knee back. Cool. So same hand, out of space a little bit. Same hand as your front foot. It's going to rotate. I'm going to rotate my body. Go grab the foot, pull it in. Make sure I'm not lifting my booty to come back. So sucking that pelvis down. I'm actually going to engage my core a little bit to get a bit more of a stretch. If I kind of flop, nothing happens. So if I suck my guts in, try and keep that hip flexor square hip. So I'm drawing that front leg back and the back leg forward, pushing this foot in. I'm going to rotate to the inside of my knee, center, and the other way. I actually went outside, inside. Apologies for that. Hopefully you understood what I meant. Rocking through here a little bit just to get some movement through the hip flexor to the center. Now I'm going to apply some pressure with my back hand, pushing it in, resist with the back leg, so squeezing that hamstring and the glute for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax it in. Alright, letting this leg go, pushing back, no space, knee over, so again, chest is drawing forward and away, square hips, kind of arching that booty, flexing the foot, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax everything down. Awesome. Alright, give your legs a shake if you need. And now we're going to get into our back bends in preparation for our bridges. Perfect. Just make sure in the right place. Awesome. Okay, we're going to just do a couple of bow poses. We may even do a bit of a rock within our bow pose. You may have done these before, hope you have. So they're really, really good posture or position. So I'm going to bend my legs towards my butt. You can reach for either the inside of your feet or the outside. I personally prefer the outside. So I'm going to grab there. I'm going to kind of lift my shoulders up like we kind of did earlier. And I'm going to thrust my hips to the ground, push up. So I'm like, again, when we did those back braces, same activity here. So I'm lifting my legs up, squeezing my booty, squeezing my shoulders, looking up, and chilling. Don't to go too high on your first one. We're going to come down. So we've got 2 more of these to go. Just have a nice little relax. Kind of relax your lower back a little bit if you need. I find bow poses quite gnarly on my lower back for some reason. I think it's just this spot right here that it kind of pinches into me. So we're going to go for number 2. Reaching those feet. Kicking the legs back. Looking up. Kick, kick, kick. Kick, kick, kick. You can kind of move through it, so you can actually do little rocks once you get good at these. But you kind of need quite a lot of control of your spine to get there. Coming down. We've got 1 more to go. Hopefully you're enjoying this. I know it's hard work. Okay, let's go for our last one. So I'm going to scooch back a little bit so I don't feel like I hit the wall with my head. Alright, lifting up. Alright, you can do the rocks if you're managing to get momentum. Again, do a little bit of this with your hips, your legs if you need to. Shake your head around. Beautiful. Cool. Let's come out of that. We might just do another counter stretch, so a quick little transpose before we work some more on our upper backs. Here's where you may want to use a chair. So we're going to do our puppy pose. Typically, these are often done just with blocks or on the ground. I like to do them with a chair because I find it gets the most out of my upper back. I'll show you the one that's on the ground, knees under hips. Walk your hands forward until you feel like you're falling, and you're just going to drop that chest through and look up. Cool, so this is the one that's on the ground. If you need a block, you add a block, like so. Hands on the blocks, same thing. This is I'm really out of room here. And again, I actually like to squeeze my shoulders together rather than just like sinking in. I kind of squeeze and release. I can also mobilize my neck by moving my head through a different range of motion. And then for the hold, I hold it looking up. I find that really releases the very top of my spine. Cool. So go into your puppy pose. I could do a couple of rounds of that. I'll show you the chair one, sorry I haven't showed you that. 2 different versions of the chair stretch. So same thing, you just have a higher starting point, which is good for me because it maxes out my lower back. I have a very, very bendy lower back, hypermobile in fact. But with a chair, I find that it kind of uses that up and then I get more into my upper back. I'm running out of space here, but your hands should really be here and hopefully your hips and knees will be further away. I don't have enough space for that, so this is what I'm having to kind of work with. I'm just going to show you one more puppy pose stretch that you can do with a chair that I quite like. And instead of having our arms stretched, we're actually going to cross them over. So this is one that people sometimes do on a wall. I don't really want to touch this wall because it's subject to the elements. It's probably covered in dirt and stuff. So I'm same thing with my legs, and I'm just going to cross my hands over and sink my chest down. Okay. Then I'm going to look up. And you might find this to be quite an enjoyable stretch. I definitely do. I'm just going to angle my chair slightly differently so that I can actually get into a better stretching position. It's just not perfect for demonstrations. So welcome to do so. I'm going to put the chair away now. You shouldn't need it for the rest of the session. And the final stretch that we're going to do before our bridges is just a full back stretch. You can do this with blocks instead of a wheel, blocks or books or a box. If you are using blocks, what you'll do is you will just pile them behind your back. You kind of want them by your bra strap. So sit by them, pile them up, and then you're going to, I'm just going to do it vertically to kind of show you how it looks. You'll want your drink bottle, so go get your drink bottle before you do this. I'm going to use this here. You don't have to use a weight, but I do find it really helps extend my shoulders. So you can start with this by your upper back. Eventually that's where you want your blocks to go. So I'm just going to make sure I scooch a little bit. Your legs should be extended here instead of bent like mine. You're going to bring this on your upper back, let yourself go, and then take your arms overhead and extend them back. And allow gravity to take them to the ground. If they're touching the ground already, you don't have enough blocks. So you shouldn't be super comfortable when touching the ground, so you want a few more blocks. I like to use a wheel because I find that it kind of gets all of my back. I'm going to do 1 or 2 rounds with just one block, and then I'm going to change to the wheel because I find the wheel kind of targets all the parts of my spine, which I really like. Just one block, even if it's vertical, is good for like your thoracic and upper spine, if that makes sense. I'm going to have to do some magic to be able to have extended legs, so bear with me while I do that. Cool. Alright, bring your weight overhead. Feel free to come in and out of the stretch as you please, especially if you're kind of getting dizzy or not feeling good, or just wanting a break. I tend to come in and out all the time. I don't like holding them for too long. Alright, I'm going to switch to my wheel. You continue with your apparatus of choice. Alright, once you're finished with those back stretches, we're going to start into our first bridges. So I'm just going to put all this stuff away. Apologies, oh, that's not where I want you to go. Great. So into our first set of bridges. This is awesome. So there are lots of different entries. We're going to do a few things from the floor, just kind of open up our shoulders. We might even practice some walking our hands down the wall to get into your bridge, and then also the standard exit just from the ground. So we run around. This is an entry called around the wheel. So we kind of want our hands facing, I would say maybe out to the side, and I'm going to push up, thrust my hips up, draw my outside arm around my body, look to the ground, and then come back here. So try this a few times on each side just to get used to it. This is where we want to think about squeezing our glutes, pushing, thrusting our hips up to the sky, looking back. Okay. All right, so we're only going halfway at this point. 2 and 3. Awesome. Okay, we're going to go the other way. I think my music has stopped. We're back to the beginning music. Beautiful. Okay, and the other way. So I'm going to thrust up, look over, and what we actually want to do to prepare for the full one is you need to move your hand from horizontal to there. So you actually need to do this swivel as you're moving your weight through that hand. I will finish my reps on this side and then I'll demonstrate the full entry on the first side so you can see that hand movement. Okay, so coming up, reaching up, over, and looking back, coming in. Cool. I've got one more on this side, and one, and full entry into a bridge. We will do this entry after we've done a walk down from the wall. I'm just going to show it now so that you know. Okay, so thrusting up. You may start with your hand here or here, it's totally up to you. Looking up, turning over, and now I need to scooch that hand around, yes? Okay, from here, if it's your first bridge, you can just kind of move around. I like to push into my shoulders, aiming for my hands under my shoulders. And I like to get the stretch into my upper back because my lower back is already pretty bendy. Okay, coming down. Just the normal way. I'm not going to come down the way I could. I came, although theoretically you could also do that. Alright, so I'm going to do the same entry around the world. I know I'm changing the plan. I said we're going to do walk wall downs. We're going to do those next, I've decided. So I'm going to do around the world, but I'm going to go on the other side. You'll find that one direction will be definitely easier than the other, depending on your shoulder mobility and like your backs, your lats, everything. I said your backs, I'm pretty sure I only have one back, but that's cool. Alright, going in the other direction. I'm pretty nervous going in this way, but hopefully it's all good. Alright. Remember to breathe through your bridge. Alright, calming down. If you need a counter stretch, remember you can either hug those knees in, roll from side to side, go into child's pose, or you can also come into a plow. I'm on concrete, so I'm not super keen to do a plow, but I can demonstrate one just in case you need. So you're going to kind of try and roll those legs over your head. Yeah, to get a nice counter stretch. This is really important for your body to relax after a big back bend, especially if you are getting dizzy. I recommend one of those 3 resting postures if you are getting dizzy. Okay, so once you've tried a couple of around the worlds, we can walk our hands down the wall. I'll try and demonstrate with this, although I'm not totally, I don't really trust glass. So what you want to do, I may not do a full one, what you want to do is I'm actually going to thrust my hips forward to start. I'm not going to come in neutral and try and get there. I'm going to bend my knees, thrust my hips, arms up. I'm actually going to close the gap. Remember we were talking earlier about bringing our rib cage in? Tucking my rib cage, arms up, and now I'm going to lean back. Grab the wall. Turn my hands down. You may need to adjust your legs or you're just going to come right back up. So you're going to find your distance based on how that beginning feels. So coming up, walking the hands. Do, 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 do. You may need to adjust your distance a little further away and eventually you can walk all the way down. I'm not going to do it because I'm worried about the glass door here. So try a couple of those. You don't have to get all the way. That's cool. It is a very different entrance and can feel quite scary just kind of going over backwards. So we will then move on to, I guess, the most standard entrance, which is just from kind of this position. So my feet are going to be nice and close to my bottom. I'm going to have my hands overhead. I'm going to have my fingers under, so towards my shoulders. Good idea to do wrist warm-ups before bridges. We didn't do them today just because I'm very much out of time, but definitely recommend it if you're ever doing that bending again, otherwise you may feel that your wrists are getting sore. So fingers under. Again, it starts with the hip thrust here. If I try and just push with my shoulders and don't use my legs, nothing much is going to happen. It's a lot for your legs and your hip flexors. Thrusting up, pushing weight into my hands, pushing up. Awesome. Okay, so you can have, I can't even do bent leg bridges to be honest, because they feel nasty. Bent leg. You can try a straight leg. Try to look into your hands, yeah? So I'm looking towards my feet and up. Sometimes I like to move my head around. You can also try one leg at a time. So I'm going to bring my feet into the center, lift one leg up, and center, and other leg. And center. I'm squeezing through my shoulder blades, so I'm actually pushing away from the ground, squeezing through my shoulder blades, through my glutes. My standing leg, or the one that's in the ear, is squeezing as well. Nice. Coming down when you need, having a break, having a little stretcheroo, stretcheroo. I'm going to go up for a couple more sets. I'm probably just going to do one. You can do a few. You don't need me there to do it with you, I don't think. Whatever entrance you like. I really enjoyed Around the World. I actually found it easier on my wrists than the standard entry, so I'm going to do that one. It is possible to just bend right over backwards into a bridge, but it's pretty hard, and I don't really like the idea of doing it on this belt here, so I'm going to demonstrate that for you today. Okay, I'm going to go on for round 2, 3, 4. I don't know how many we've done. I'm going to go on for another round. And you can as well, or you can continue having a rest. Once I do 1 or 2 more, we're going to do a full cool down, a few cool down stretches and some more abs, because after this bending, you definitely need to turn them back on to protect your spine, so you don't kind of start walking around like a jellyfish. Cool. Alright. Entrance of your choice. Even do bridge walking. You can practice moving different parts of your body, so your feet in and out, or your hands in and out. Nice. Whoa. Alright. Wow. That was an intense one. Oh, whose idea was that? We're not going to do forearm bridges today. I think they're pretty hard. If you are really comfortable in your bridges, you're welcome to give one a go in your own time. I find it hard to really get my upper back going, and then I find that they kind of just destroy my lower back. I might try one just to see how it's going, but they are pretty difficult. You have to have a nice full strong bridge to even get there. So definitely not a beginner bridge move, yeah, or beginner back bending movement. Alright, I'm going to do my last bridge. I don't like to do too many actually, even when I'm doing back bending. I kind of don't do this for too long. Just a few, just to make sure I still can really. I like all the strengthening bits way more than the bending bits, because I'm a bit weird. Cool. Alright, I'm going to go on for my last one. You're welcome to join me, or even continue doing a couple of the variations we've done, or trying different entries if you're still feeling like energetic and like you want to bend some more. Alright, I'm going up. That was hard. Coming back out from the forearm that way was actually really hard, and I slipped on my notebook. Okay, I'm going to have another rest. I might take a happy baby, so this is going to be one of our cool down stretches. So knees tucking into your armpits, hands around your feet, gently pulling those knees down, and you can just roll around your hips and see what feels good here. So you might want to rock from side to side. Ooh, my lower back side. Rock from side to side. Roll around a little circle. Oh, other way. I haven't actually done this before. It's kind of fun though. Oh, and just hold and chill. Coming back onto your backs. So we're just going to do a gentle side stretch. I don't even know if I fit, this is fun. So I'm going to take one leg, hand to knee, gently pull it over, looking the other way. Not letting our shoulders go. Really gentle, our back has just been through a lot today. So, you know, we don't need to really reach it at this point. It's already done a lot of stretching. This is just to kind of remind it where everything is. Alright, knee back in. Other side. Nice and gentle. I'm going to come into a little primal squat position. So I'm just going to come to a nice deep squat. Elbows in between my feet. I'm going to let my back round. So I'm not going to do any crazy stuff. I'm just going to let everything round and chill here before we do some abs just to finish. Alright, abs to finish. Brilliant. I'm sure these are going to be our favourite part of the class, but they are really, really important. I already feel like my back's learnt this new concave position and it would happily just wander around like this all the time. So I want to bring it back in to where it needs to be the rest of the time. Okay, so I'm going to start with lying on my back. I'm going to do little pulses. So legs up. I'm just going to like engage my lower abs and lift my legs up. You're not going to get much. Hands just on the side. In fact, your arms can kind of do anything. They're not helping you, yeah? So we're just engaging our very, very lower abs, pelvic floor muscles, and lifting those legs up. We're not using momentum to get there. We're just going up and down. Around 10 of these. Once you've done your 10, we're going to do some crunches. So you can either have your hands close to your chest like this, crouching up for 10. Now ankle taps. So I'm going to punch this side, try and tap my ankle back to center, and the other side, 10 each side. Okay, now I'm going to come up into a boat pose. So I'm going to come up. Your knees can either be straight or bent, and we're going to balance here. Nice. Okay, we're going to end with a plank. This time we're not going to have a high plank, we're just going to have a low plank, a prone plank on our elbows. Let's go. Onto our backs. And we're just going to finish with, I've forgotten what they're called. Is it called bicycles? Oh my god, I do not fit here. These ones? Teeny side. Awesome. Ah, relax down. You're welcome to finish with a plow, just to rest everything. Coming into our plow. Oh, I do not fit. I'm going to try that one more time. This has been an interesting challenge. You can bring your knees to your ears if it's comfortable for you, or keep your legs extended, totally up to you. Alright, I want to finish here. You're welcome to stay stretching for a little bit more, just to kind of relax yourself. My abs are definitely firing now. Thanks everyone for joining. I hope you enjoyed it. I welcome any feedback. Obviously I don't take bendy back classes regularly, so these were kind of just a few of the exercises that I like. There are so many different ways to prepare for back bending and different stretches or exercises you can do. So it's really about finding what works for you and learning about your own body and how it works. So thank you everyone. Hope you have an awesome day and enjoy the rest of your lockdown.